let's talk about gun control, shall we? More specifically, let's talk about red flag laws. And even more specifically than that, let's talk about the Extreme Risk Protection Act of 2018, S-2521, as put forward by the wonderfully anti-gun Richard Blumenthal. I believe he's a senator out of Connecticut, if I recall correctly. And the fact that here in early 2019, Lindsey Graham, the wonderfully anti-gun Republican senator, has come forward and said not only is he on board with this bipartisan bill, but so is the NRA, so is Mike Pence, and of course so is Donald Trump. So with all those people on board, you can bet this will become law, period. Let's talk about this bill. Let's talk about how we have a bill that more than likely will become law federally that does remove due process from the equation when it comes to stripping you, potentially any of us, of one of our natural-born rights as protected by the Constitution and the Second Amendment. Now, I'm going to get into that here a little more in just a minute, but if you don't know what a red flag law is, to help you understand just a little bit, it's basically where somebody that lives with you, family member, friend, somebody who has some sort of connection to you, somebody you were in a relationship with, maybe current partner, ex-partner, whatever it may be, can go to a judge or a magistrate and say they're scared of you. They think you're going to do something dangerous either to someone else or to yourself. And then without you being present or even being notified, that judge can sign off on you having your firearms taken away. It doesn't matter if it's untrue. You can still have your Second Amendment rights revoked. I'm sure you could fight it later on, but now you have something on your record saying that a judge deemed you in some capacity mentally defective and you had to have your firearms taken away. And if you know anything about buying firearms, when it comes to filling out the federally mandated 4473 piece of paperwork, it specifically asks you that. Have you ever been, deemed to be mentally defective, or some sort of wording that says basically that? You would then have to answer yes to that question, which means going forward you wouldn't be able to buy a gun again, even if the thing that you were accused of being was a complete and total lie. You've had your Second Amendment rights taken away, period. Now, specifically with S-2521, there is no current bill. This was the bill for 2018. There is a new bill being proposed that has not been written yet, that Lindsey Graham has said he's come together with Richard Blumenthal on writing, and that bill is not created yet, so I can't give you the direct text from that, but we can just look at the bill that Richard Blumenthal wrote with the exact same name, called S-2521, from just last year. Now, they like to say that this would have helped the situation in Parkland. This would have stopped the Parkland shooting. No, it wouldn't. Because there already was mechanisms in place to take care of what happened in Parkland. This was a person who went around and was visited by law enforcement and investigated by the FBI and the Education Department and the Broward County Sheriff's Department multiple times when he made actual threats of violence against people. This kid, there was already enough stuff in place to put this person in front of a judge so a judge could deem them mentally defective and have already taken their rights away. Period. But they didn't take the proper steps or proper actions. This is the problem with red flag laws. They're correcting a problem that doesn't exist, simply because they want to take due process away, just like Donald Trump said last year. Take the guns away first and then the due process. That is an exact quote from the President of the United States. Take the guns first and then the due process. And here's the other thing about S-2521. Not only does it say that an ex-girlfriend or wife or neighbor or family member or friend or somebody that just lived in your house like a roommate can call and talk to a magistrate or a judge to just make something up if they wanted to, I guess, to say you're a danger to yourself or others and then have your Second Amendment rights violated. No, a police officer can do it as well. The same people who are put in charge of taking your guns can be the ones that get to decide whether or not you're being accused of something that would result in your guns being taken away in the first place. Do you trust police officers just in general as an organization to be the ones able to just look at you for whatever reason and say, yeah, I think that person's dangerous, so I'm gonna go to this magistrate or this judge, and just because I'm a police officer, I don't even have to know this individual. I can then have that person's Second Amendment rights violated. That's what we're talking about here. We are talking about taking away due process, because when somebody goes to that judge or that magistrate, they don't tell you anything. You don't find out about it until somebody shows up at your door to take your guns away. Unlike with any other type of protective order, where you are summoned before the court, to where you have a chance to defend yourself in front of the judge, this removes that from the equation. It takes the guns first and then the due process.